everybody's already been asking you, where have you been? Where have you been? I really want to ask you.
Just down the road, like I live in Bandra.
I want to ask you, what brings you back?
It's the universe, actually. A lot of the choices have been made by. I'm not a particularly spiritual or religious person, but I do. I have really increasingly started to believe in the idea that the universe just kind of throws things together and say, let's see what happens, chemical reaction. And my quote unquote return to public life, to the movies, all of it, this has been the universe time and again just showing up at my door, knocking on the door and saying, the bus is going. Do you want to get on the bus? It's a series of events that just kind of showed up, and at the right time I just had to say yes. I just had to answer the door.
Do you remember an exact moment where you said, okay, now I have to do this?
The thing that really triggered it all off was last year. I was in San Francisco visiting my dad. My dad lives there, so I'm out there a good part of the year. And out of the blue, I got a call from Abbas Tyrewala. Abbas and I have shared a close bond while we were making Jaane too, and over the years we've kind of maintained that. We're not always in each other's lives, but if one of us calls, the other picks up. It's one of those bonds of, you're calling, I pick up. Okay. What's up? How are you doing? Yeah. He called, and he is the one who kind of put the notion of the universe into my head. He's like, listen, I've got this project that for years has just been floating around, and we never thought anything would come of it. And I want to do this with you. I think way back, you and I did a thing, and we did an amazing thing together that still holds great value. And I'm quoting him. He said, "Ab bas bahut ho gaya. It's time.
Okay.
Let's do this thing. Let's take one more ride. Let's do this thing once more." But it was that conversation with Abbas, and for me, just stepping into a room and having that conversation kind of sparked this thing inside of, hey, remember how much fun this used to be?
Okay.
The truth is, there's nothing. I'm 41 years old today. There's nothing that I love in quite the same way that I love movies. As an audience, as someone who watches, and as someone who participates in any way, at absolutely any scale, it is the thing that I love the most, and that gives me the greatest joy, greatest satisfaction. And I started to have that feeling of, hey, I want to do this thing, and I want to do it in a way that is fulfilling, in a way that is satisfying, and that is free of baggage. Working in my 20s, I was very heavily influenced by, and I bought into a lot of the externalities. Now there's this entire ecosystem, right? Everyone's looking to maximize financial gain. And while of course it's valid that a producer puts money into a project, they are seeking to profit from that and not to lose from that, obviously. But that's how it's always been. That's how it was. My granddad was a producer back in the 60s. And that generation of producers, the guys who were making in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, 80s, this is when Yash Ji came up. That generation of producers, they were backing projects, and of course they were seeking profit. They were putting money into it, and nobody wants to lose. You want to generate revenue off of that. But they were also following a conviction, a creative conviction, because there is no right and wrong in storytelling. There's no right way to picturize a song. You picturize it in the way that you can best imagine, in the way that to you seems like it will have the most impact and resonance. There's no right and wrong. You have to go with what you believe in. In recent years, as the game became much more about box office, it became kind of like a sporting event where everything is measured on the absolute number. And again, while it's valid to make money, if that becomes your only metric by which you are evaluating a film, by which you are evaluating something that is a creative endeavor, then you can start to lose sight of the value of it, I feel. I started then to look at my own films in terms of how much are they earning. I started to look at myself in terms of how much am I earning, how much is he earning, how much is that guy earning. And very quickly, you lose respect for the thing that you're doing, and you lose value for it. Because the reason that I suspect the reason that most people gravitate towards the movies is because of an inner sense of romance. It's like, we're telling stories. You know, we're playing dress up, we're wearing costumes, and we're doing make believe, and there is a romantic inside everyone, I think, who shows up wanting to make movies. Uh, and that inner romantic starts to become cynical. And you're like, didn't earn so much. Like, did you see that film? This business stopped at 32 crores. Yeah, kya hai?
Okay.
We should all really be far more appreciative and far more grateful that all of us are getting the chance to do something that we love so much. Every day you get to set foot on a movie set is a blessing that most people don't get. Every time you get to, and if you've ever made a film, you know how difficult it is to get one film across the finish line. Every time you get a film right up to the finish line and you finish making a film, it is a miracle, and all of us should pat ourselves and each other on the back, say, good job team, we did the thing.